Hello and welcome to Modern Sages. This video is a clip taken from our podcast. If you want to learn more or listen to the podcast even further, click the show notes below and that will link you to the direct podcast that you are listening to. And so a lot of times you'll see, like, even in the Norse paganism, they have these three women who stand at the base of the tree. And it's like they can see the past, the present, the future of all things. And then even in Hercules, they have those three ladies who can, like, cut the string, and it's like cutting a life, you know? But there's something so significant to the energy of the mother, the maiden, and the crone as far as womanhood goes. The maiden is once it's kind of like the initiation of, like, your moon time up into the point where you're giving birth or when you're pregnant, right? It's like in this maiden energy, you're still very innocent and excited and, like, very much so take in a way. Like, it's about me in many ways. And it's about just this innocence and this rebirth and this existence of life where it's just like you're very young in many ways. And then you step into motherhood after having children or giving birth or whatever that may be. Not everyone has that opportunity, but there's just this next phase, this next ceremony or cycle of life where all of a sudden you're the mother and you're looking out for other people, where you're giving so much of your energy to raise these families, to raise these children, to, even if you don't have children yourself, to be a mom to others. It's this energy of giving after, right? It's like the maiden is receiving a lot and the mother is giving. Give all the time. If you think about a teenager, right? A lot of times they're like so focused on their friends that they don't even want to be around family. And they're like, why would I want to hang out with my family when my friends are all getting together, right? It's this energy. And then you step into motherhood and you're like giving more. It's like you find joy and you're expected to give so much of who you are. And then you step into the phases of crone energy, which is when you go through menopause. And you become the wisdom seekers, like the wisdom holders. And it's in that space that you're there to give and receive. You've been the maiden and the mother. And now it's the maiden and the mother look to you, the crone, for the wisdom. It's this give and receive energy. And it's that energy of embracing the gray hair, embracing the wrinkles, and knowing that what you have to offer in life now is so much more prevalent. You are that wisdom holder to give support to those who are in the new phases of motherhood, or to those who are in that maiden energy who are just trying to figure out life, figure out who they are. So if you look at it like that, there's so many significant cycles in just those three aspects. And in ancient days, they used to practice these rites of passage, whether it be for men or for women. There were different rites of passage. And some of them are a little bit more brutal than others. Let's be honest here. Um, for women, it's like as you step into your moon time for the first time, back in the day, they used to have a whole rite of passage for women who stepped into that moon time where all the women of the community would get together and they would celebrate and honor this girl for starting her moon time. And they would give her wisdom about welcoming her into this maiden energy of who she is and the honor that it is to bleed every month and what that means as a woman, and giving her guidance and wisdom. And nowadays it's kind of like, oh, that sucks. Welcome to the shit show, like welcome to the cramps and feeling terrible. And it's like a lot of times we have not honored that like we used to. And to make that a sacred passage of life versus something that's like, ugh, welcome. Sucks to be you now. Welcome to the shitty years, right? Like there tends to be collectively this energy. And, it was really cute. One of my nieces started and my sister had a period party for her and had like all the red things, all red food, and talked about it. which to me is like so beautiful and it's so fun, right? It's like showing that it doesn't have to be terrible and it can be a beautiful space. But a lot of times we think of it as nasty and gross and a pain in the butt, you know? And then it's like, so they had that rite of passage, and then they had, the motherhood, giving birth. And instead of doing a baby shower, it was a mother's blessing where they would have all these women get together who have been mothers, who are crones, who are the maidens, right? And they would offer her wisdom. Maybe they'd put oil on her body or like henna or drawings or different flowers on her belly. But it was a way of signifying sisterhood in this aspect of birth, you know. And in the past, they still have done this too. And it's coming back into fruition right now. It's like maybe everyone would make a candle or have a bracelet. And it was like when the mother went into labor, they wore the bracelets, or they wore it until after she had the baby, or when she was going into labor, everyone lit that candle. And it signified that everyone was sending positive vibes and support as this woman opened up that portal of energy to bring forth life. How beautiful is that? They also celebrated menopause as a rite of passage, stepping into that crone energy, honoring all the wisdom that she had and holding this sacred energy for her. They also had rites of passage if there was a divorce or death in the family, where they would honor that individual, hold space, as well as just offering support. And, those are these rites of passages that if you look back in nature, right, there's going to be a tree and this tree is going to grow sturdy and strong. And then somehow, whether it be through an illness of the tree or animals, it's like at some point it decays. It has like a sickness or a death, and then it decays back into Mother Earth. And then, it goes back into the soil and the microbiomes, and the fungi goes in and clears it out and brings it back to the earth to then support new trees that are growing. And Mother Earth naturally has this essence of honoring the flows and the cycles of life. And when we can stop and consider that each of those passages and each of these phases of life are sacred, we're not going to have them for a long period of time. That's significant. That is so powerful to remember the sacred in life. I was doing some research on this, and as far as men rites of passage, in some Native American traditions, as a boy reaches a certain age, they'll send him out into the woods for a few days. It just brought a whole new outlook for me that yes, I may be in the maiden phase of my life, and I don't have to make myself wrong that I'm not stepping into that crone energy. I'm still here, and like stepping into motherhood is a rite of passage, and it's not something that has to be made wrong, or I hope that it's bad for you and that you hate it. I hope that you realize how hard it is. It's like, why do we want to put ill will on people? Why can't we want to bring support and say, hey, you're in this new phase of life. This is a sacred journey. It's going to be hard at times, but also there's beauty in it. And I want to help you see the beauty in those hard times. That is embracing the sacred of life. It's not wishing ill will or heaviness on someone in that space. There's so much to that it just feels so significant that our ancestors and our ancient ancestors were aware of those sacred aspects, and even our angel connections, those who we know who have passed, as they step back into the realm of the spirits, they're aware of these sacred rites of passage that maybe they didn't experience, or maybe they did. And they want to help us embrace that, to help us remember that this life is sacred, that these experiences that we hold are so sacred and so in tune and so powerful for who we are if we allow it to be that way. But how often do we actually allow it to be that way? Probably not as often as we should. Thank you so much for watching this video. If this podcast has piqued your interest, we would definitely recommend you to finish the podcast by clicking the link below. We would also love to invite you to subscribe and to like to our YouTube channel. along with joining our Modern Sages Soul Tribe. This is a tribe of women helping to embrace the medicine within. In this tribe, we will be doing moon gatherings, having classes, and a lot of free content, spiritual gift giveaways, and so much more. If this calls to you, click the link below and join the Modern Sages Soul Tribe. Blessings.